So talking about the technique, the most important thing that we need to consider is how we could avoid the attention hammock. And I have a question for all of you. Can someone tell me, if you are giving a presentation, when do you expect you have the maximum attention of the audience? Is it in the beginning? Is it in the middle? Or is it towards the end? When do you expect you have the maximum attention of your audience?
Beginning.
My experience has been the very beginning.
Yeah.
Beginning.
Very first few minutes.
Very first few minutes, okay. Any other thoughts?
For me, you get some attention in the beginning, but most of it you get it at the end when you're about to close the session.
Like 5 minutes from the beginning and 5 to the end.
Say it again, Rodrigo.
5 minutes to the beginning and 5 minutes to the end.
5 minutes to the beginning, 5 minutes to the end, okay. Anyone who says that it should be highest in the middle?
You still have our attention right now, but the fact that it's interactive really helps. I wouldn't say the middle, but...
Okay, so that's all are very valid thoughts. So I'm sharing a quotation from this, or I'm quoting something from this book. It is the conversations that win the complex sale. And by the way, that I strongly recommend you buying this book and go through that. It's one of the best read. I strongly recommend. So this book states this: the attention hammock, a typical attention hammock looks like this. You have very high attention in the beginning, almost 70%. Towards the end, you have the highest attention of 100%, and it drops down, or the attention drops down literally to 20% in the middle. That is according to the research. And if you look at this attention hammock, there are so many indicators, so many signals for us. First of all, I would say, if that is correct, then why on earth we give all the core messages, all the important points in the middle of the conversation, in the middle of the presentation? When I know that in the middle of the presentation, the attention is only 20%, why I give all the important points in the middle of my presentation? Secondly, if it's high in the beginning, 70%, I should be able to make the most of this opportunity. I should start with something grabbing. I should start with something like a joke or a fact or a quotation that grabs people's attention. But what most of the people do, they do it like this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to present or give a talk on power messaging. My name is Arsalan Minhas. I'm running pre-sales in EMEA and blah, 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 blah. We started introducing ourselves. This is something which everyone does. And when you do what everyone does, it becomes normal. And normal is?
Boring.
Boring. Thank you, Marwan. Thank you. So if you do what everyone does, it is normal, and normal is boring. Start with something disruptive. Start with something which is unique, which is different, which grabs people's attention. The same also goes for the end. When you have the maximum 100% attention, how we mostly conclude our talks and presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of power messaging. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. What a boring end. When you have the highest attention of the people and you're just thanking them, that's it. At that time, you should be having a hot close. What is a hot close? So for example, we are in the selling business. If we want people to attend, to buy, to bless a proof of concept or a pilot as the next step, put that on the agenda. If we want people to attend the next lecture, that should be on your agenda. If you want people to do something concrete after attending your talk, put that there so that it should lead to the next steps instead of just closing a great meeting and that's it. So once again, If you look at this hammock, it tells us clearly that your beginning should be something grabbing, your close should be hot, and that we have to do something to spike the middle. And what you could do to spike the middle, there are different techniques that you can apply to spike the middle. So for example, what you could do is that, as I already mentioned, that normal is boring, be creative, be disruptive. So take that into consideration when you are spiking the middle. Second thing is use humor. I mean, humor plays a very important role in the presentation, so apply humor. Of course, I should also suggest that humor will vary from your audience to audience, from your topic to topic. And I have made some very bad experiences, I should tell you. When I applied Indian and Pakistani humor in the United States, it failed. When I applied the American humor in Germany, it failed. So I had to learn how the different humors, different regions work and which humor actually makes sense. But that is something, as said, is important, but select the humor wisely. This is advice I like to give. Thirdly, keep the element of suspense. Do not make yourself predictable. Because if you know me, if Courtney, if Tara, if Johnny, if you know me, what actually I'm going to present next, what you start doing, you will start looking at your phones. Maybe WhatsApping your spouse, maybe some other messages. You will start looking at your phone because you know what Arsalan is going to say next. So make yourself predictable so that there is an element of, make yourself unpredictable by introducing an element of suspense. Also, simplify your message. That is a very important thing. And I should say that many of the IT people, also pre-sales folks, ask me this question all the time. Arsalan, we have to present complex architecture pictures, complex deployment diagrams. We cannot simplify our message. But my opinion is wrong. It's not a valid excuse. Focus on what are the most important messages that you want to give in the presentation. Keep your presentation short and focus on those essentials. If there is any supporting information that you want to provide, share it as a white paper, share it as a supporting document after the presentation. But don't try to put each and everything on your slides. It's just like someone wants to sell you a new Mustang. You don't go there and say, open the engine and start explaining each and every nut and bolt. So again, simplify your message and keep it short. Also, make it concrete. Sometimes our thoughts, our ideas are so abstract that people don't get it. So, for example, what is this?
What is it?
Tomato, right? This is a lemon, right? Now you will remember Arsalan was showing lemon and tomatoes in his presentation anyways. But the idea is that if you can use a metaphor, if you can use something concrete, that will make your idea and your thought understandable. Sorry?
Sorry.
Yes, Shankar?
No, sorry.
So I think, you were just following that thing that you were getting bored and now you are basically speaking with someone else on the phone, right?
No. My mom just came into the room.
Okay, all good.
Sorry.
No, I need to be blamed because I have not kept your attention alive, so all good. Anyways, so the thing is that if you're presenting some ideas, you can make those ideas more concrete by using metaphors, by using concrete objects. And that is also important in the software world. Why our customers want to see demos, want to see something live, because they want to see it something concrete so that they can comprehend and digest the thoughts. Also,
and Arsalan, what great SE teams and sales teams use during this is interaction with one another during the conversation. So it's not just one person speaking, where the AE can jump in and make a point, and then the SE can play off that. So having people change and divert their eye contact to someone else, having someone else speak, also ends up changing that pace, and as Arsalan said, keeps it a bit more unpredictable, right? So those are other techniques you can use during this part of the process.
Excellent, excellent. And in fact, you already are mentioning the next point, John, that this allows you to cause state changes in the conversation. In fact, my question is, anyone can explain me what is a state and what is a state change? Any ideas?
Getting the
John?
getting everybody to engage. I kind of use this a lot of times in my presentations. Somebody asks a question, and I always bring it back to them. Sometime down the presentation, I'll always go back to that customer. Oh, Arsalan, remember you asked about this? Here it is again. Here relates back to you. I guess changing the state is similar to that, trying to change the attention from you, bringing it back to somebody else, and opening up more chances for questions. Is that it?
That's a valid statement, absolutely. And for example, right now, what is my state? I am standing and giving a talk, right? I'm standing. What is, for example, Courtney or John or Lucas' state? They are sitting, right?
Sure.
And if I just keep on throwing information in that state, what would happen? Maybe after a while, they will say, yawning can happen. They might sleep. You never know. So our objective should be to have some sort of state changes, which, for example, could be, as Johnny, you said, ask a question, change your focus from one person to another, right? Or it could be that you ask a riddle. Or, for example, if you are giving a talk late in the afternoon and you know that your audience has been sitting in that room since morning, you can ask them to stand up, do some body stretching, maybe go out, get some fresh oxygen, maybe have a cup of coffee, do some sort of things which, or for example, what Courtney did, she helped me with a virtual whiteboard. So ask someone to join you, do some flip charting, do some whiteboarding. So do things which changes the state of the individual, because that engages the audience. Good or good? Good or good? Good.
Good.
And the last but not least, raise the energy in the room. Of course, there are different techniques to raise the energy in the room. You have seen some people using music, some people using some motivational speeches. But in the end, why we do all this? Because again, the research says that people learn more when their energy is high. So you have to raise the energy in the room, because that enhances the attention and the learning. Okay, so enough said on avoiding the hammock. We talked about starting with something which grabs people's attention, right? And let me share an example with you. This was the slide which I used for one of my talks a while ago on digital disruption. So that was this talk on digital disruption. And I took a slide which showed St. Peter's Square in 2005 when Pope, I believe it was Pope Benedict, he was chosen, versus 2013 when Pope Francis was selected. And as you can see that it clearly shows what a difference 8 years makes to our lives. And why I chose this slide to start my presentation, because picture worth 1,000 words. It gives a message about disruption very clearly. And secondly, it shows also the contrast. You can look at the contrast. And both contrast and pictures appeal to the old brain. And what we need to do, we need to appeal ourselves to the old brain.